What happens when a loved one's needs supersede your own, and you're left wondering if it's time to reevaluate the relationship? I'm about to share a story that's been weighing heavily on my mind for weeks, and I want to invite you to join me on this journey of self-discovery and conflict resolution. As I sit here reflecting on the events that transpired, I'm reminded of the importance of setting boundaries and communicating effectively with your partner. My name is Narrator, and I've been with my partner, Alex, for 6 years now. We're both in our early 30s, and we've talked about taking the next step, moving in together, but we've been hesitant due to a recent change in circumstances. About 3 months ago, Alex's mom, Carol, had a heart attack, and she's been living with us ever since. We're grateful for her presence, as our families have always been close-knit and supportive of one another. However, I've noticed that since her arrival, things have become complicated. As you know, having someone else living in your home can be challenging, especially when it comes to managing finances, space, and personal belongings. Carol is a 58-year-old woman who can be quite demanding at times, but we both agreed that this was the least we could do for our parents after they helped us through some tough financial times when I lost my job. I'd been freelancing on the side to make ends meet, trying to rebuild my graphic design career. Alex has a steady income, and he's always been supportive of my endeavors. But with Carol living with us, we've had to get creative with our budget and adjust our expectations. 2 weeks ago, things took a turn for the worse. Carol asked me if she could use my laptop to book a flight to visit her sister in California. At first, I said no, because I needed it for work. But Alex jumped in and convinced me to let her use the laptop under one condition: she had to pay me back $50. Looking back, that was a huge mistake. Carol spent hours on my laptop, not only booking the flight but also sending out emails to her friends and family, using up all of our data. And when I reminded her about the agreed-upon payment, she didn't even offer to make it right. But what really got me was when Alex confronted me about how I was being mean to his mom. He said that I should be more understanding and accommodating because she's going through a tough time. But he never once spoke up to Carol about her behavior or suggested that she make amends in some way. The conversation escalated into a huge fight, with Alex getting defensive and saying that I'm being too sensitive. But the thing is, this isn't just about Carol's behavior, it's also about how Alex is handling the situation. I feel like he's enabling her to take advantage of us and not respecting my boundaries or needs in this relationship. As I reflect on our conversation, I realize that I've been feeling angry and resentful towards Alex for a while now. I'm starting to wonder if we're really ready to move forward with our plans together when one partner seems more invested in appeasing their family than working through conflicts with me. Now, let's take a step back and examine the situation from different angles. We have background and context, breaking down the situation, and what would you do? Sections ahead. Background and context. I want to provide some context about my relationship with Alex and his mom. We've been together for 6 years, and our families have always been close-knit. When Carol had her heart attack, we both felt a sense of responsibility towards her, especially after they helped us through tough times when I lost my job. However, as time went on, I started to notice that Alex's mom was taking advantage of our hospitality. She'd often ask for money or use our resources without asking permission first. Alex would always intervene and calm me down, saying that we should be understanding because she's his mom. But what struck me was that Alex never once spoke up to Carol about her behavior or suggested that she make amends in some way. It seemed like he was enabling her to take advantage of us, and I started to feel resentful towards him for not respecting my boundaries. Breaking down the situation. Let's analyze what went wrong in this situation. On one hand, we had a loved one who needed our help during a difficult time. We opened up our home and our lives to Carol, which was a kind and compassionate gesture. However, as time went on, it became clear that Carol wasn't pulling her weight. She'd use our resources without asking permission first, and Alex would always jump in to defend her behavior. I started to feel like he was taking sides against me, and that we weren't working together as a team. The situation escalated into a huge fight, with Alex saying that I'm being too sensitive and not understanding. But the thing is, I'm not being unreasonable. I have boundaries and needs in this relationship, just like anyone else. And when those are consistently disregarded, it creates tension and resentment. What would you do? Now it's your turn to weigh in on this situation. How would you handle a loved one taking advantage of your hospitality and resources? Would you set clear boundaries and expectations from the start? Or would you try to accommodate their needs and hope for the best? And what about when conflicts arise? Do you speak up and address them directly, or do you sweep them under the rug? These are questions I've been grappling with as I navigate this challenging situation. I want to hear your thoughts and perspectives on how to handle conflicts and set boundaries in relationships. As we come full circle, I want to ask you, what would you do if you were in my shoes? Would you stand up for yourself and your needs, or try to accommodate the demands of a loved one? I'm not looking for answers, I'm seeking understanding. Understanding that our relationships are complex, messy, and multifaceted. And sometimes, it takes courage to speak up and set boundaries when it feels uncomfortable. So, what do you think? Have you been in similar situations where you felt like your partner was taking advantage of your hospitality or resources? How did you handle it? As I close this story, I want to leave you with a call to action. If you've been in a situation where you felt taken advantage of or disrespected in a relationship, please share your story in the comments below. Let's create a community that supports each other in setting boundaries and communicating effectively. If you're new here, consider subscribing for more stories like this one, exploring complex relationships, conflict resolution, and personal growth. And if you've got thoughts or perspectives on this situation, don't hesitate to share them with me. I'd love to hear your take on it. Thanks for joining me on this journey of self-discovery and exploration. Let's continue the conversation in the comments below.